Blog Talk Radio.
Let the rain fall, baby. You already locked yourself into the room. You've been so consumed lately. It's time for you to pause and put your worries on snooze. I know you love it in the sunlight. Wait from soaping, calling your name. Like sipping a tequila sunrise. I know this taste is what you crave. Your fingertips are running through my hair. Your voice plays violins in my ear. You're dangerous for me, but I do not care. I'm already well aware your touch is poison. I can't focus, can barely keep my eyes open. It's your potion and I want it. Got me roped up in devotion to your body, these emotions. One more second, I can hold it just for one night. I'll be yours tonight. Step back, hold up, rewind. For a minute, you've been on my mind. So I cannot deny this might not be right. Your skin electrifies my appetite. When you're around, baby, I don't understand why my hands can't comprehend. You ain't mine, though I just can't. Listen, your body's a fire, I want it. So do we take a chance in no man's land? Are we up for the consequences? Is this what we want in the end? Is this just fun? What's your intention? Hesitation in my veins, I know that we're crossing lines, losing all control, mad at the way you still can read my soul, damn. But your stars look so good in my sky. You want me, this pressure is daunting. I want you, but this could be bad news. The feeling, this is so enticing, but I would be lying if I said I'm not dying to touch you. My fingers are reaching up, but my mind is so confused. And I started to feel the tension grow. Yeah, I knew I want you, I want you, I want you. So do we take the chance to no man's land? Are we up for the consequences? Is this what we want in the end? Is this just fun? What's your intention? So do we take the risk to play in this game where we might never come back from this the same? Is this what we want in the end? Is this just fun? What's your intention? I know what you want, baby. You are what I want. Am I what you want, baby? Am I what you want? Your touch is poison. I can't focus, can barely keep my eyes open. It's your potion, and I want it. Do we take a chance in no man's land? Is this just fun? What's your intentions?
Do you ask yourself what's going on? There are so much things that's going wrong. Do you understand the way I feel? Yeah. There's just too much people being naughty. Every day I wonder why. So many bad things that make you cry. If we don't stop
Yo, it's your boy DJ 9D, and I'm here to let y'all know it's going down September 25th between 7 and 11 p.m. at the Studio House Atlanta. Yes, Hook Up Atlanta is back. Mr. Hanky will be in the building as we rock to Twerkulator, Wobble, Living My Best Life, and more. It will be filled with live performances from independent artists, vendors, food, drinks, industry professionals, networking, and more. For tickets or to learn, visit atlantamusicindustry.com. That's music with a Z, not S. Pre-sale tickets will be available. And yes, Kicking the Old School will be in the building, so come hook up with us.
My Oh My Massage and Wellness, located in beautiful Sandy Springs, Georgia, provides office and mobile healthcare services such as massage, counseling, sound vibration therapy, and our newly added localized cryotherapy. We also offer a variety of natural butters, oils, and tinctures custom made to address specific medicinal, spiritual, or sensual needs.
What's going on?
What is the hap? This is R. Marie
and Patricia M. Jewett,
and we are with On the Move Unscripted Ladies Roundtable Discussion.
Why you complaining that that's a long name? That ain't that long.
I'm assuming we're not using this.
Yes, we are, because we are unscripted.
Okay.
Make sure you tune in every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on blogtalkradio.com/Patricia Goins. And it's unscripted, so we say whatever we want to say.
Yes, and we talk about anything. We talk about everything. So come tune in to us and come talk to us. What's on your mind?
We want to hear it. What's going on? You have tuned in to another episode of On the Move, Unscripted Ladies Round Table Discussion. Yes, you have. And I'm praying that what happened yesterday with the electricity going off won't happen today. We just going to pray for a really smooth show today. And it'll be as the least unscripted as possible, if that's possible. Anyway, you know, we're back for another week. We actually took the week off last week, you know, because everybody had a lot. Well, I had a lot going on, and everybody, you know, it is what it is. Because I'm in Atlanta and really promoting and getting out here trying to really promote this Hookup Atlanta and just letting everybody know that it's, you know, the event is coming on September 25th and all that kind of stuff. So I was so super busy last week that I didn't really get to promote. I mean, didn't get to do my shows this last week. So anyway, we're back this week, and we was trying to do it yesterday, but we had an unscripted moment, and it was crazy. But I'm feeling that today is going to be a much better day. I know we got Kimberly McCants, Queen God's King Advocate, Chief King Advocate. Let me finish my sentence. She actually is on her way to the airport. Much rest in peace to her, the passing of her mother. And so she won't be on the air tonight. She was trying to, but she felt like, you know, it would be too much for her trying to get there and do what she got to do and still call in. So our hearts and prayers are out to you. And DJ, we know she's a busy woman, so she may chime in later. But I do believe R. Marie is on the line. What's going on, R. Marie?
Hey, what is going on, Trisha?
What is going on?
The week has been a roller coaster ride. It's been a roller coaster ride. I had a situation with a client this week where he felt, now how can I talk about this without being a HIPAA violation? Well, it was a situation that went on with medication, and we thought that was missing, but it wasn't missing. Because the laws are always changing, so whenever you're dealing with, if the doctor write a script for class 2 narcotic, then, you know, it used to be you have 30 days to get it filled, but now they've cut that down to 14 days. This is the opioid situation. So, well, the epidemic with the opioid. So the time frame wore out. So long story short, it was resolved. You know, no one took any medication, no pills were missing. The prescription was not able to get filled because the pharmacy was saying with the timeline, it's a certain amount of time to get it filled. After that timeline, the doctor has to write another script. So it was just really wow. I'm very, very well with how I handle my patients' medication, especially their pain medication. So I'm like, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I have my system down to a science. I'm like, so, you know, it was just like, it was a paper chase. It was a paper chase. You know, it was like the missing piece to the puzzle. And I'm like, you know, let's call the pharmacy. And I was able to find the missing link, you know, and all as well, but it was just, it just put me in a different stress level, you know, and it's like, do you really want to do this the rest of your life? And don't get me wrong, because I love taking care of people. I truly enjoy it. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like there's a different purpose. You know, I've been able to do something that I absolutely love for over 20 years, but I just feel like there's other things that I need to do.
You know what? I understand that too. I understand that because, you know, I understand. It's like, first of all, the medical field, you know, if you're one who's into direct care, you know, there's a lot of jobs there are. You know, you can work, you know, anywhere in the medical field, direct care. But I understand what you're saying because after years and years of taking care of people, and it's not that, you know, we don't know what we do or we didn't, you know, or whatever. But it's just like it's like when you're a caregiver, you give so much of yourself to your patients and stuff like that, to the point sometimes that you neglect yourself, or to the point where by the time you get home, your family is looking at you like, okay, I know you've been at work all day, but look, this is what I need. And it's like, oh gosh, the job ain't over yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like they never end. You know, they say that nurses, you know, have a low marriage rate because, you know, a lot of husbands, you know, they want their wife to work, but they need some quality time. But if you just worked a 12-hour shift, you know, and really that's if everything runs smoothly, because there are going to be times when it's not, and you may not get home to 13, 14 hours later, you know. And when you come home, your children are either already in bed or, you know, you already know you're not cooking, like, not cooking anything. So you got to run out and get them something to eat. You know, I just feel like my children were raised, I mean, I fed them. They had to eat because they had to grow. But they probably didn't have the most nutritious meals because we ate out quite a bit, you know, because there were a lot of times I came home, it was just late. It was too late to cook. You know, I'm keeping them up, checking work, schoolwork, homework, you know. They should be already settled and ready to rest, getting plenty of rest, getting ready to use their energy to learn the next day. We chilling. It was just sometimes it just got bad. So I don't know. It's just something. It just makes you think. It makes you think because this can't just be it. You know, it can't be.
I think it's also difficult on marriage as it is, because I remember when I was married and I was doing direct care, and I remember the money at that time, like the money ain't changed. Let's just jump over there to that. The money has not changed in freaking 25 years. How is it that you're paying the same thing you were paying? Hold on, let me just finish this thought. How is it that you still paying the same thing that you was paying 25 years ago to do the same type of job with more risk? Because now you got COVID-19 and all the other diseases that have seemed to have disappeared since COVID-19 came out. Because I swear to goodness, I ain't heard about nothing but COVID-19 since COVID-19 came. I don't know what happened to pneumonia. I don't know what happened to the common cold. I don't know what happened to flu. I don't know what happened to all that. You know what I'm saying? Because all I hear now is COVID-19, so I don't know. But just the money has not changed. And so, you know, back then, 25 years ago, making that you willing to, especially home health, you trying to get as many cases as you can, or if you're nursing home, you trying to up as many hours because you want that money. But at home, you got this mate, and if the mate is not supportive, you got the mate who might be accusing you. Why are you still at that client's house? You must be messing around with somebody at the client's house. What? You know, what? Why are you trying to pick up more hours? You must like one of them people over there at the job. What? You know, it's just like you deal with that, and then you got your own kids and stuff, and yeah, it's crazy.
You're never home. You're never like listen, welfare won't work for me. It's not going to work for you either. We've came accustomed to liking nice things. So that's not going to work. And not only that, I don't like being on a budget, you know, a real tight budget waiting for a check every month. If it's something that I have to do, I absolutely will because that's what it's there for. But just to sit on my ass and collect because I can, that's just being lazy. Well, in my opinion, that it's in time with your life on things that you could be doing, that you're gifted at doing, and that you enjoy doing. You wake up like, oh, I can't wait to go and do da-da-da-da-da at work today. You know, I started off like that. I don't feel that way anymore. Now I'm like, oh, my gosh. You know, and it may just be a burnout because when COVID started, which was what, 2019, 2020, what year are we in? It's been a year since 2020.
2021.
Yeah, when COVID, I mean, my last vacation was in April of 2019. Yeah, I missed the whole year. I'm working a lot. I'm burning out. And I tell them, like, oh, well, can you pick up another case? Like, listen, I'm crashing. No, I cannot. If I didn't have to pay bills, I wouldn't be here. Like, I need a break.
The nursing field is the only field that you don't get a freaking vacation. Christmas comes, you might as well go get some gifts for your patients too, because you ain't about to be at home. You about to be out there working for the ones who will still see you. Thanksgiving, all the time that you would normally be spending with your family, when everybody else is off, the medical field is still out there pushing it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's. I can understand I understand. Like I definitely
for all the families on the holidays that don't come and see their people, you know, hey, shame on you. This your people. This your mama, your grandmama, your daddy, your grandpa, great aunt, great uncle. Check on them on the holidays. Bring them to your house. Have a family day. Damn it. Like
you want to be able to call and be like, hey, I'm calling for the visit today. I'm calling for the visit today. Like, are you ready? Whatever. And then you would think they would be like, oh, it's a holiday, baby. Go ahead. My sister or my daughter or my cousin gonna do it. No, they'd be like, yeah, come on, the door open.
Right. Oh yeah, bring me a plate. Bring me a plate. Like, wow.
Hey, I'm on the air. I'm on the air, y'all. Excuse me. I'm on the air. So just till 10, and then after that it's good.
Okay, and then just hearing about deaths, so many deaths lately.
Lately, this week this month has been rough with people passing.
My sister Dee Dee, she lost her son and her only son, her oldest child. She lost him in June, and then her best friend Nikki. They've been best friends since they were 10, 37 years. She passed away a couple days ago. So prayers out for my sister, please. She's taking it hard.
Who passed away? I'm sorry. Who passed away, Armory?
Miriam Nicole Wade, a.k.a. Nikki Wade. She was my sister.
I've met her. Right? I met her, right?
You have definitely met. She was always wild. She's always wild. She wasn't the one that stole your 11 cigarette. that was but she was always around. I mean, they were always together. I mean, she has a cousin named Dion that was always hanging out with Saku. So yeah, she passed, and and my sister was there for her too. She stayed in the room with her till she took her last breath. So it was she's had a rough couple months. And she's like, just when she's trying to get her, and that was Nikki was actually her son's godmother. They had been friends for so long. So it was just, I'm like, and it was a sense of sadness because I've seen this girl grow up from a child to a woman to a mom, so I've seen all that. But then it made me reflect on all my very close friends, like, oh my God, I can't so much longer, So I pray for everybody, but I especially pray for my family and my friends, all my family. All my friends, but especially my friends, my sisters. It's rough. It's like me losing you or you losing me. Just, it would just be hard.
We've only been together since we was freaking 9th, 12th, whatever grade we agreed on. Like, we've only been together since then, so yeah, that would be a hard thing. So I'm glad I'm sorry you had such a rough week, and definitely sorry about the passing of, your sister's best friend, and all that. I've been in y'all family so long. Y'all like my family too, so my heart goes out definitely. This past week has been difficult for me, more so because, not really difficult, but emotionally difficult because, since me and Mr. Stout have been dating, we really have not been apart. You know what I'm saying? We haven't really been separated since we actually, started kicking it together. So I've been in Atlanta now. It's been like almost 2 weeks. And it's been kind of like an emotional
Is it a little rough?
Huh? Huh?
You miss your boo?
I do. I'm like, and the thing is, when you're in a relationship and you're still and you've never been apart, you go through, different feelings, emotions, probably fears, anxiety. Like, okay, well, while I'm away, is the mouse gonna play type stuff? You know what I'm saying? But you go through all these different feelings sometimes when you're in a relationship, and just that kind of stuff, and then just missing the affection and the love, because me, Mr. Stout, and I have a very affectionate relationship. You know what I'm saying? A very emotionally fulfilling relationship, but very affectionate. So I ain't been getting no hugs, no kisses, no nothing. I'm about to go on a freaking drought over here.
Speaking of how was your week? How was your week? I know you've been busy.
I have been busy though, and that's how I've been really occupying my time. Is I've really just been out here, like everywhere I go, I'm passing out flyers. You know what I'm saying? All of Atlanta. If all of Atlanta don't know about Hook Up Atlanta by the time I leave up out of here, I don't know what to say, because I've been really just trying to, pass the word around and just let people know, because it's really going to be a fun event, and so I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really happy that I have the type of a relationship where, my significant other, my boo, my bae, he supported me while I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? Because not a lot of men be like, all right, go ahead and be out there, and I'll see you when you get back. And they might be a whole bunch of drama, but he's very supportive of what's going on, because he knows, what we're trying to do or whatever. But, I'm still, you just go through stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely do. I absolutely do. Been there, done that. Been there and done that. But you know what? When you just have a trusting, loving relationship, you don't got to worry about that. But it would be inhuman not to be like, I wonder.
Right. Right.
But I mean, unless because I do know a couple people that's been in relationships for a long time, and the trust level is on lock. And their relationship is always good. I mean, everybody goes through it up and down, but you rarely see it. So, I'm like, Stacy and Roger was like that, the one who lost her husband last November. They were like that, to COVID. As of speaking of COVID, the governor and the mayor has mandated the law, starting tomorrow. We're going back into, you have to wear masks in all public places.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I think they're making people wear masks in Georgia too. It's the same here. I think they're making it mandatory to wear masks. My only thing, Marie, I just want to know what happened to all the other freaking diseases and issues and health stuff. I just want to know what happened to them. Like, did they put them in a box or something? Because it's like you don't hear about nothing else now. Before 2019, there was all kind of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? You had pneumonia, and you had upper respiratory infections. You had, lower GI issues, and you had the common cold. You know what I'm saying? You had flu. You had all that stuff. We don't got none of that no more. I don't know where it went. All we got now is COVID-19. I'm trying to understand, like, is it because those things really just disappeared, or is it because these doctors is all cold and everything the same? I just want to understand. I ain't trying to start nothing, Marie, but I just want to understand. Where did everything else go?
Well, because when you go in there, they ask you, have you had a cold, have you had a cough, have you had a fever, you been around anybody? They ask you like 14 COVID questions. Be fast as you could. If you cough, you definitely taking a COVID test before they see you. They take a rapid test. Like, that is crazy. I just want to know where all the other stuff went. That's it's like when they. I think right now COVID is still so new, and I think because COVID is actually killing people in like a month or less, in a lot of cases that just took precedence over everything else.
So now everything is COVID. That's all I'm trying to say. Everything is COVID. Like, people are not. I mean, there's different respiratory issues that people go through. You know what I'm saying? There's SARS. There's all kinds of different stuff. But I ain't heard nothing for COVID. I swear to goodness, I ain't heard nothing for COVID. Nothing. What happened to the common
What
cold?
about down in Georgia? Are they saying anything in Georgia about anything other than COVID?
They're saying the same thing that every other state is saying, but I'm just trying to figure out what happened to all the other stuff that was out there before COVID. I just want to know where it went. Like on the claim, on the bill claim thing, you know, the where they have to bill for different things, the billing page. I just want to know, do they still have all the other stuff on there, or is COVID like real in black bold letters and it just automatically click that? That just represent that. I'm just wanting to know what happened to all the other stuff. That's all I'm saying. You don't hear nothing else. Ain't nobody dying of nothing else now except for COVID. Like, come on, I don't understand. Can you hear me? Yeah, I just don't understand. I don't understand. I think that I'm not saying that COVID's not out there, and I'm not saying that people are not passing away, you know, from that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is there are other things. What happened to all the other stuff? It's just like, you know, nothing. It's like COVID is the only thing now. You don't hear nothing else. I'm just trying to figure out where all that. I think that some of the doctors, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I feel like COVID-19 must come with a higher reimbursement, and I feel like they're just coming right down and just saying COVID is one of the things they're clicking on top of anything else that patient got going on. They clicking that COVID. That's how I feel, because I'm just like, what happened to everything else? What happened to all the other issues? We didn't have a whole bunch of people been dying from flu. People have been dying from flu. They've been dying from different issues and infections and stuff for decades. So what happened to all that stuff? And why is now the only thing you hear?
So did pass, but it was not COVID related. I'm like, damn, they still mention COVID.
Right.
But they still deal with people with other issues, you know, because I went to the hospital. I went to urgent care back in July. And so there were other issues, but before they dealt with my issues, I did go through a 14 questionnaire directly about COVID. As soon as I signed in, you know, before I went to triage to get my vital signs, the first thing they did was, have you been coughing? Have you been outside the United States? Have you been here? Have you been there? Has anybody been around you that's been outside the United States? I mean, oh, yeah, they dotting all T's, all I's, crossing all T's. They're making sure they asking every question.
But not only that, but I heard that when they go to the emergency room with something like a fever or something like that, they don't even see them. They turn them away. If they come up with one of them little things that's on that list of symptoms, they don't even see them. They be like, you can't be seen. What? But why I can't be seen? I thought this is the emergency room. I thought this is where you're supposed to come when you sick and got a fever. What happened to all the other stuff that was out there before COVID? People was coming to the emergency room with fevers and other stuff. It's like that stuff, they don't have it no more. Like what? It's going.
I want to know who started COVID. I've heard so many different things. It came from a bat. It came from a monkey. It came from the Chinese. The government released it. I think, personally, that it was probably some type of scientific experiment. And they either leaked it or purposely did it. And then it got out of control. Because this is the only disease. And this is why, you know, I went ahead and took my vaccination. I'm like, because out of all these diseases, like, well, they paying to give them Because right now, if you get your COVID vaccination, you get $100. You get $100 gift card. They weren't giving out shit when I took mine, but it's okay. But, and they're like, so they want you to take this that bad that they're going to give you money. But you also have to remember, this is the only disease out of all the diseases. This is the only disease that hit worldwide and took people out in rapid hours, weeks. 3 weeks was what most people was dying. 3 weeks. And I'm like, wow. Now, do I know if this vaccination really going to work? I don't know. Because first they said if you had the vaccination, you won't need a booster. If you have the vaccination but you have underlying conditions, you still may need a booster. Now it's like, well, everybody may have to get the booster. I'm like, wow, that is crazy. So I don't know. But if I need to get a booster, I'm going to get a booster. I prayed about it, and I did what was best for me. One, I'm around a lot of sick people.
Right.
There was a lot of reasons.
This is how I feel about it. If you feel like that's what you're supposed to do, if you feel like you need to get that vaccination because you feel like you need to be covered and you don't want to catch whatever is floating out here, whatever, then you need to do what you feel like you need to do. And if you're someone who you feel like that's not what you need to do for whatever reason, religious reasons, whatever, then you need to do what you feel like you need to do. Like, for what in healthcare, you always have the right to refuse care. You have the right to say, I don't want that. I don't want to get that. That's something that you learn in nursing school. The patient has the right to refuse. The patient has the right to say, no, I don't want that care. Or someone has the right to say, no, I don't want that flu shot, because of whatever their reason is. I don't want it. No, I'm good. Let me just finish this thought. I'm trying to understand why it is that for all these years of nursing and medical, the patient has always had the right to accept or refuse care or deny. But now it's sounding like they're taking that right away. It's sounding like they're trying to take away the patient's right to state what they want or don't want. I mean, we've always, in medical field, we've always been taught the patient has the right to refuse. They can say, no, I don't want that. You cannot force them to do it. But it almost sounds like that's what's going on. It sounds like they're going to try to force, or they're going to force people eventually to take this vaccination. And I'm just trying to understand, why are you trying to force someone to take something that you just really supposedly came up with the vaccination last year? So why are you forcing people to take something that the FDA hadn't even approved yet? Why are you trying to take away people's rights?
The FDA has approved it. The FDA finally did approve it. It's been approved like 2 weeks ago.
They was already trying to force people before the FDA approved it. Before the FDA said okay, and they probably said okay because
I do feel like it should be your choice. I do feel like that. However, in the state of Ohio, all hospitals, because they piggybacking off of one another, like they're letting their staff know you have such and such amount of time if you do not get this vaccination, because there are patients who are uncomfortable being seen if they ask a nurse or a doctor or an aide or somebody about their training, dietary, housekeeping, were you vaccinated? No, I'm not getting the vaccination. And there's a lot of patients complaining that they feel like coming to the hospital is endangering their health because they have people who are working there who have not been vaccinated, that they could potentially pass it on to them. So now all the hospitals are mandating it, and there are a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of lawsuits, because there's a lot of doctors and there's everybody that works in the hospital. There's a lot of people who don't agree with it. And they're like, I've been working here 22 years, in like 8 more years, I can retire. Like, if you don't get that, but I don't want to get this vaccination. You don't have to we're not forcing you to get it. But we're giving you the option to get it. We're even giving you a time frame from the option to get it. But if you don't get it, you cannot no longer work here.
But that ain't like really an option. If they're telling people you can
always find another job.
If you don't take this shot, you can't work here. Then that's like saying if you don't do what we tell you to do, we're gonna take your money. Like I just don't understand. So I just feel like there has been a lot of freaking diseases, contagious diseases. You know, you got tuberculosis. You know what I'm saying? You got MRSA. Hell, they didn't say that with MRSA. You remember when MRSA was running rapid?
That not one disease you name hit the whole world worldwide, right around the same time.
You're right. You're right. So let's get to that for a second, right? Since it's just me and you tonight, obviously. So let's get to that, right? So you got something that has hit the whole world in a matter of freaking. It was running rapid through the whole world within days, right? Days. So you're going to tell me that somebody over in the mountains around the corner, about the way, ate a bat. Right? They ate a bat, or they ate whatever the hell they ate. They breathed on somebody. And all of a sudden, because they breathed on that person, the whole thing spread through the world. Like freaking like a rainstorm. That's what you, because somebody. But then they come back and say, but there's no animal byproduct in the virus. And then they're also saying, remember the time when they were saying,
because I don't think there was no animal.
They were saying, don't touch any doors. Don't touch any, be careful. Wash your hands. Because it can last on the surface for 2 weeks. Do you remember them saying that? I know you remember that.
Yeah.
So let's go back to nursing. Let's go back to medical school. And if I remember correctly, a virus is an organism. Right or wrong? Am I right or wrong?
Right.
It's still a living organism. When you put it up under that microscope, it is still a living organism. So I am trying to understand how a living organism can live outside the host on a dry surface for 2 freaking weeks. That's like a baby in the womb. Well, if the baby cannot survive on its own, if his lungs are not mature or whatever, and it doesn't have
what about HPV?
It's not going to live.
What about HPV? Do you know if somebody with HIV and like drop some blood, like say 2 people sitting on the bench, one person has HIV, one person has HPV. HIV, and they both drop a drip of blood, and they get up and they leave. They'll clean themselves off. Meanwhile, the sun come out. They stay gone long enough. Both dries up. From that moment, HIV, that blood drop that is now dry, is inactive, and no one can catch. It's no longer HIV. Because the sun have killed it. It completely dried out. Let's say a raindrop, HPV will reactivate. All it takes is liquid.
Because there is some type of host or there's still some type of environment that it can breathe again or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it does.
Now, why is that believable? But it's not believable that a host can stay on something for 14 days.
I just don't believe it. I don't believe if it's not in an environment, if it's not in an environment where it can reproduce, or because cells reproduce like constantly. They have to reproduce. That's how it lives. So if it's not in an environment that it can reproduce, then how can it? We're talking about 2 weeks on a doorknob. It's not many times when you're inside of a building that rain is going to hit a doorknob. It's not. I just do not believe. What I really believe is, what I personally believe is that there's somebody, and I don't know who, China, I don't know who, I don't know. But somebody was in a laboratory and they were creating some stuff. And they already knew that they were going to create some stuff, and that's why they started coming up with some antidotes to some stuff that they already knew they was going to create. Because how do you write a book? Same thing. Eyes of Darkness. How do you come up with a freaking book that describes exactly? And the book was written in 1980. How do you come up with a book that was written in 1980 that describes something that happens, that's going to happen in 2020 in the same city that they claimed that it happened in the same way that they said it was going to happen? Like, something about that don't sound right. How can you have a free how can you have a patent on something that ain't even been created yet?
And what book is this?
It's called The Eyes of Darkness. It was by, let me see who this author is. I'm like, I don't understand that. Like, how can you come up with a vaccine in 9 months? But we got HIV, we got cancer, we got all these other tuberculosis, we got a whole bunch of stuff out there that they still ain't been able to find one shot to cure. So I just don't.
Who told you that? Who told you that? Let me tell you something. Do you know?
Yeah, you got pills.
Wait a minute, Trisha. Don't you know if they came up with a cure for a lot of these? First of all, do you know how much a pill costs a patient that's HIV? It got one pill can cost like $100 and something. Cancer. Do you know how much money doctors make off of cancer patients, HIV patients? Do you know how much money pharmaceuticals make? You would have to be. It's morally right to fix these people, because I know you know how. If you could send a man to the moon, you can cure some shit. If you could come up with a cure like COVID or a vaccination so you won't get it, supposedly, in 9 months, you telling me HIV been out for 30, 40, 50, 40 years and you don't have it? Cancer been out even longer. You don't have a cure for that? A lot of these diseases, you don't have a cure for that? Y'all don't have the funding for that? What's going on? But I tell you, a lot of doctors will not get paid the amount they get paid, and pharmaceutical companies, they are multi-billionaires, and they're making it all off the failing health of Americans.
Oh yeah, I tell people all the time, the healthcare business.
No money.
I tell people all the time, healthcare industry is a business. Like, that's why I used to tell patients, like, you have the right to choose what business you want to go to get services, because it is a business. They will bill you, and they make money off the business. If they can bill you for a couple different diagnosis type situations, and they gonna bill you for everything they think they can get. But right now, it just seems like the COVID-19 reimbursement must be big as hell, because that's the only thing you're hearing. That COVID-19 reimbursement for hospitals and doctors' offices and all that kind of stuff, it must be big. It must be great. It must be a large amount.
If the average RN that works at the hospital make about anywhere from 65 to 90,000, right? The average physical therapist make about 50, 75,000, 80,000. My brother, one of my brothers made 160,000 just from working for COVID. They got paid way more money. They got hazardous pay, and he worked a whole bunch of fucking hours. Oh, freaking hours. I'm sorry. He killed it. He put his life on the line, and he was absolutely. He had all the proper gear that he was supposed to wear. Mask, gowns, gloves, all that. I mean, because if you think he's right at the belly of the beast, you know, because he's dealing with the respiratory. They already have it. Now he's dealing directly with this. He's suctioning out this COVID, you know. So the health industry made a lot of money. I mean, I'm looking at sign-on now that these now that the numbers are going back up. I'm looking, you know, and hospitals are now, because, you know, for a while in the state of Ohio, hospitals weren't hiring LPNs. They phased them out about maybe 10 years ago. You know, right. So they just deal with RNs. They're hiring LPNs. They're giving $7,500 sign-on bonuses. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy out here.
So back to this book. The book is called The Eyes of Darkness. And the book was written by Adine Kuntz, spelled Koontz. But I guess they published it under his fictitious name, which is Lee Nichols, Leigh Nichols. The book was first published on May 10th, 1981, right? And the plot is basically, it says the plot, this is the plot. A mother sends her son on a camping trip with a leader who has led this trip into the mountains 16 times before without mishap. That is until this time. Every single camper and leader and driver die with no explanation. As the grieving mother, who is the protagonist, begins to accept the fact that her son, Danny, is dead, she starts getting vicious bully-like attacks from nowhere, saying that he is not dead, such as writing on chalkboards, words from printers, in various signs, along with her new friend, Elliot. And Christina Evans sets out to find what could have possibly happened on the day that her son apparently died of a mysterious virus. That's what the thing's about. So in the where everybody is saying the speculation or misinformation or whatever, the novel mentions a bioweapon that in an earlier edition was called something else, Gorky 400 or something. And then I guess due to the end of the Cold War, the origin of the bioweapon was changed to the Chinese city of Wuhan. And it was renamed Wuhan 400 for the 1989 edition onward. And so they're speculating that, this particular bioweapon, which bioweapon means biochemical weapon, was created in the same city that they're saying that this whole thing came out of. So when I was in the military, I just remember, and this was back in 1990 and I just remember going through the gas chamber thing, and I remember them telling us about the possibility of a biochemical war, and that's why we were getting prepared in case it ever happened. You know what I'm saying? To me, what happened in 2020 lines up more with a biochemical war versus just a virus. It just, to me, in my opinion, what happened was someone released something into the atmosphere, whether it was through satellite, which affects the clouds, or up under the ground or something, and it traveled. It traveled, and that's how it was able to move so quickly throughout the world, because it was in the atmosphere. It wasn't about somebody talking to somebody and giving them a virus. It was about a biochemical weapon. That is my opinion. I feel like we was at war in 2020, and they just was not being honest about the fact that somebody released a weapon. We've been so concentrating and looking at, nuclear weapons and all that kind of stuff, but with technology, you have to know that they have other different, things. So I felt we were in a war. It was a biochemical war, and that's what claimed all them lives. And then only that, but a lot of lives was lost in nursing homes. But we already know that nursing homes is the worst place. That's the one place where them people is going to pass because of how short-staffed it is, and those people are, people in the nursing home are already fragile, and there's not, if you are a nurse and you got 50 patients you got to take care of, or you're an aide and you got freaking 20 people on your assignment that you got to change, all that kind of stuff, you're not going, at some point, you're going to get exhausted, and you're not going to be using the precautions the way you need to. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of that was going on was hitting these nursing homes, because the nursing homes that was going to be the first place, because that was the weakest place, because of how understaffed and just, it was just horrible. I remember it just, oh Jesus, I just feel, my heart goes out to everybody who has passed away or lost a loved one to this, but with the energy of the way that things were last year, with the previous president and everything, and then just how it spread so quickly like that, and the fact that we were already at tension with other countries and all that kind of stuff, to me, it sounds like it was a war. So I feel like whatever this thing is that's still passing around, that is killing people or whatever, is still the result of that. Maybe some people got it, and it went into remission. You know what I'm saying, or something. And then when it comes back out within them, it may cause issues or whatever. But I really feel like, if their body did not create antibodies at that time when it was going on, then maybe it went into remission or something and then came back out, kind of like cancer does or something like that. And so in that point, I don't know if it's really so much about a submission or breathing on somebody and they catch it and all kinds of stuff, but rather that being dormant in their body and their body not building the antibodies, and then it becomes active, and then it attacks the weakest part of their body and kills them. I don't know if it's about that's just my opinion. I just feel like we were at war, and a weapon was released into the atmosphere, and that's what was killing people. And some of that probably is still around within people's bodies. You know what I'm saying? And what they're calling a vaccine is really an antidote for whatever the heck is going on, maybe. Or because how do you come up with that quick? That was too That was too quick. That was quick. And so I don't know. I have my feelings and my thoughts about it.
But we had a pandemic team out. We did have a pandemic team out. The Obama administration, they got a pandemic team together, and they were working on that. But that was one of the things that the Trump administration. That's one of the first few things. We don't need that. We haven't had one. We're America. No one is coming for us. So
that's what I'm talking about.
They disbanded.
Why would they do that? Why would you come in and that's the first thing you disable? It's something that's going to protect the world. Why would you come in disabling that? That don't make sense to me.
Well, they find that a lot of presidents, when they come in, they want to do things their way. So they will completely switch things up. So they will.
That was major. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that we are not being told. I think that and people who do not know or do not understand because they're not in the medical field, or they've never been in the military, or they've never been in that kind of situation, they just accept whatever they hear, like, okay, that must be the truth. But I just feel, I don't know. I just feel like, it felt like war. It felt the energy from last year felt like we was at war. Just the atmosphere felt like war. It just felt like war. That's what it felt like to me. It just felt like a war. It felt like it was in the atmosphere, and it just, it just seemed like it to me. It seemed like it went with the clouds. Like when it would rain. Like for instance, wherever it started at, wherever it was, it seemed like it was moving down the coast. And it almost seemed like it was following a weather pattern. And then it seemed like it split, because I remember when my sister lived in Tennessee, we was in Ohio. People in Chicago was getting it first. We was hearing about the numbers climbing in Chicago, but they hadn't climbed in Ohio yet when they were climbing in Ohio, in Chicago. Then the numbers was climbing in Ohio, but they hadn't hit Tennessee yet. But it just felt like a rain came, and then all of a sudden the numbers jumped. So that's how I was seeing it. And I asked my mom and them, I said, did it rain down there? She was like, oh, and it hadn't rained yet. But then when it rained, they know they were talking about the numbers climbing. And then even in Ohio, you remember how they was like, oh, the numbers was climbing. Everybody go in the house, everything shut down, stay in your house, don't come out. Yeah. It just
Well, I don't know. We'll stay tuned for that. But you know what, Trish? I think it's a great.
We ain't gonna find out in this. We ain't gonna find out for 30 years. You know how they do. They don't find out for 30, 40 years what really happened. 50 years.
Because there's a lot of missing pieces to the puzzle, and that's for sure. But I feel like we have spent our first half talking about COVID and our suspicions. I think Trish should take a break, and we listen to a couple new artists. And when we come back, we'll talk about relationships. And what was it about the relationship?
That's what you music. Did you just say I can play? Marie, did you just say I can play? Did you just say I can play some music? Did I just?
Yeah, I figure this is our halftime. We halfway through the show. I don't want to end the show on nervousness and COVID. I want to talk about what we say we're going to talk about relationships, what women want and need in a relationship, and the barriers that exist and block couples from having healthy relationships. That's what we're going to talk about when we come back. But first, our DJ, Trisha. But I actually want to give a shout out to Trisha for that, because she is really putting on a lot of new artists who may not have been heard before, and so it gives different vibes. You get a take on different things. And then Trish even throws a couple of her songs in there, and I'm like, let's take a time, so we take time out to do about two or three songs. And then we'll come back and do this.
Now you trying to tell me how many to play. You just said play what you want to play. How you going to then tell me how many?
Can we not play for 20 minutes? Can we not play for about 5 minutes worth of playing? We should be good. 5 minutes, 3-4 songs.
Some of the artists that are going to be coming on, that are going to be performing at Hookup Atlanta, I have not loaded their music up in here yet. So I probably won't be uploading it until after they perform, just because, it's like I want people to come and just see them for the first time at the thing. But then afterwards, I'll start uploading them. But I'm really excited about these artists and what we got going on here. Like, I'm super, super excited. So, all right, so let me go and find somebody to rock this, and I'll be back. I don't know why I'm stuttering. I'll be right back. I'm going to move on to
This man freshly is different.
Ill will make a deep down seat.
Ain't no love in these streets. Ain't no love in these streets. Ain't no love in these streets. Niggas dying in the streets. Stay away from these streets. Cause ain't no love in these streets. There's a whole lot of enemies. Ain't no love in these streets. There's a whole lot of enemies. Ain't no love in these streets. Niggas dying in the streets. Stay away from these streets. Love in these streets, there's a whole lot of enemies. Ain't no love in these streets, there's a whole lot of enemies. Ain't no love in these streets, niggas dying in these streets. Stay away from these streets. Just ain't no love in these streets. Straightforward if you think they love you. Everything's above you. Move in silence, protect your own. Watch the throne. These niggas want it, they hungry. Only safe by your only in the street. Can't trust the homies. Price fight you the man down. They used to be friends now. Watch who you call bro now, since money speak so loud. The type of shit that move whole crowds. Hard to say who's the hoe now. Cause lyric calls they on step now. Won't give you shit when you touch down. Same niggas you held down. Bet your heart full of pain now. Moving through these streets, can't let guards down. Look, same niggas you held down. Bet your heart full of pain now. Moving through these streets, can't let guards down. Hard to say who's the hoe now. Cause lyric calls they on step now. Ain't no love in these streets. Ain't no love in these streets. Ain't no love in these streets. Niggas dying in these streets. Stay away from these streets. Cause ain't no love in these streets. There's a whole lot of enemies. Ain't no love in these streets. There's a whole lot of enemies. Ain't no love in these streets. Niggas dying in these streets. Stay away from these streets. Cause ain't no love in these streets.
Waking up, praying before my day gets started. Every day on the news, hearing bodies getting caught in the ambulance. Seem like the world out for vengeance, not caring about a life sentence. No jail, understand, no price set to be let out on bail. We as people have failed, I'd rather stay in my own lane. Live for my son and daughter, said and watching over my shoulder. In these trenches, ain't no love when you getting it. A bunch of leeches trying to hold you back. Same will stab you in the back. Can't get behind, always prepared to steps ahead of anybody, whether it's family or friend. Don't trust a soul, except yourself. You ain't gon' rap on yourself. Respect you earn, the crown you own. Just tell it how it is and how you feel on every song. Ain't no love in these streets. Let that be a lesson learned while you chillin' by your lonely. Trying blessings that you earn.
Ain't no love in these streets. Ain't no love in these streets. Ain't no love in these streets. Niggas dying in these streets. Stay away from these streets. Cause ain't no love in these streets. There's a whole lot of enemies. Ain't no love in these streets. There's a whole lot of enemies. Ain't no love in these streets. Niggas dying in these streets. Stay away from these streets. Cause ain't no love in these streets.
lovers, it's your girl, Kimberly McCann, a.k.a. Queen Got the King Advocate, and you are listening live to On the Move, Unscripted, On Purpose, the ladies' round table discussion, where we talk about everything. Make sure you tune in every Thursday night at 8 o'clock from 8 to 10, so we talk about whatever you want to talk about. So make sure you tune in 8 o'clock every Thursday, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. with your girls live on the move, unscripted, on purpose. And remember, whatever you do it on purpose, with purpose.
What's going on? So you have tuned into the second hour of On the Move, Unscripted Ladies Roundtable Discussion. So the first hour, we talked about, the whole little, what we talked about. And so this time we talked about relationships. We're going to get back on relationships, and we're going to stay on relationships, and we're going to leave all the other stuff alone because that ain't nothing we can do about it. We all have our thoughts and theories and this, that, and the other, and that is what it is. But, so let's get into this relationship topic. And it looks like we got Kimberly McCann, Queen Goddess, the King Advocate, who's supposed to be on her way to the freaking airport. Why are you on the line, man?
I'm on the plane, baby.
Oh, you on the plane?
I am on the plane.
Okay. You must have some wait time. You got a little bit of time before it takes off.
I didn't hear you.
You have a little bit of time before it takes off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got on the plane.
Okay. So what you start us off then, Kim, since you don't got that much time. What are your thoughts about relationships and what a woman needs, or what is needed in relationships for it to be fruitful?
I don't know if you can hear me clearly, but truth. And the thing is, every woman doesn't require the same thing. So there is no one, particular rule about it. It depends on what that individual needs from the person that she's with. But honestly, she would require less from anybody if she is whole first. If she has what she needs for herself, and I mean in every aspect, not just like on a financial level, but, emotionally, spiritually, if she is whole as a woman, then anybody else that she has a relationship will just add to that. It will just be a compliment to her, and it won't be a need per se for her to be looking for anything to fill a void, because there won't be one.
No, and I agree with that. If you go, if you are broken, and you go jumping into a relationship, still broken, from the previous relationship or whatever's going on the inside of you, if you haven't taken that time to be by yourself and really discover who you are or whatever, then you're really just poisoning the next relationship, or you'll be disappointed if you don't find those certain things that you feel like you need to make you whole, because you have not taken that time for yourself. I agree with that.
Absolutely. Y'all better mark this down. Mark it down. We got an agreement.
No.
Mark it down.
Yeah, because it is true. Like, you need that. But I also feel like, a woman can be whole and she can have done that whatever is needed to to heal from whatever, or she can be loving herself. There are a lot of women, you'll hear them say, I was celibate for 2 years, or I was by myself for 3 years and I was happy. And then, I met, XYZ, but he wasn't happy. And he brought his misery into my life. Mm-hmm. And now I'm miserable again, but I was feeling good before I got with him, or I got with her.
Right.
You hear people saying all the time.
So then it's time to make a left. People don't respect their own peace, honestly. They ask for it, but don't do what's necessary in order to obtain it and keep it. So it doesn't matter if somebody is coming into your life and you like them, you're attracted to them, whatever. If they're bringing chaos to your peace, they got to go.
Right.
That's a decision that needs to be made.
Right. And it's easy to say that if you are someone whose motto is F your feelings. But what about the ones who are not there?
They need to get there. Because it's not about
everybody ain't on that
they
level.
need to take that step. I get it. I understand. But you have to get there. The thing is, you have to have enough, one, respect for your own self to not tolerate things that are going to disrupt you. Your peace is not coming from somebody else. Other people cannot give you peace. They allow you to stay peaceful because they don't bring you chaos. Your state of mind, regardless of what you go through, is your decision, because you're going to have to do whatever it takes in order to be in the mindset that you want to be in. Mm-hmm. So if you're with somebody who is bringing you chaos, then it's a decision to make. Do you want to leave your peace and join the chaos, or do you want to keep your peace? It's a decision.
Right. That's true. That's definitely true. I think that you're right. You have to reach a certain level, sometimes a certain level of maturity, where you just say, you know what, there's certain things that I just can't settle for. Like, I just can't. Mm-hmm. I can't. There's certain things that I got this list of things that I can tolerate and things that I absolutely cannot. And then knowing your own worth, you have to stick to that. You have to be like, okay, I love you, but I cannot deal with this. And the only way for me to handle this is for me to walk away. And somebody once said to me something like, running from relationships. I don't know if it's considered. Sometimes people do run from relationships, and I definitely have been one of the ones that I've had that in my past. But then there's other times when you just like, I'm not going to settle. Like when I know it gets to this point, and I know, and I've already seen this road before, or I already can tell where it's about to lead, I'm not going to keep traveling down that road with you when I know that I'm not going to be able to deal with it. I'm not going to be able to deal with you. Right. I'm not going to be able to deal with whatever your thing is, cheating or, just being lies or deceitful or whatever it is. There's certain things that I can't do. And so I don't know if that's not, to me, that's not running. That's what you said. That's securing my peace, because I'm not going to be hostage by you in a relationship that ain't about shit, when there could be somebody else out there who's going to be able to match my love and my giving and who I am and my authenticness. You know what I'm saying? So I feel on that. Yeah.
And you cannot honestly love somebody if love is the application of truth, if you allow them to mess their chaos into your peace and you accept it. You can't honestly love them because you're lying out the gate. You're saying, I'll accept something that I don't want. That's not being truthful. You're not being honest. You can't love them. Love is an application of truth.
Yeah, but
so if you love them, you tell them, I can't. If you love them, then you have to be honest with the fact that you bring chaos to my space. I love you enough to stay peaceful. I love you enough to let you go. If you want to be in a chaotic relationship, I will let you go and find one. But it's not right here.
Right. Especially when you get to a certain age. When you're young,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The little babies get in them, little 20, 21, y'all ready for that roller coaster ride. Y'all got some years still.
I hear you.
You can go on that roller coaster ride. You know what I'm saying? When you get to a certain age,
you don't got time for the game.
Right. Well, look
that's
here,
why I don't understand when I hear people. Is that your cue, Kim?
That's next too. That's not me, but we are getting ready to.
Have a safe flight.
Getting ready to start
flight.
Start talking and all that junk. All right, Cheryl, I'll let you know when I get there.
Yes, ma'am.
You all have a wonderful rest of the show.
Yes.
All right.
Love you. Peace and love.
Peace and I love y'all on purpose with purpose.
I love you on purpose with purpose.
Indeed.
So definitely we want Kim to have a safe trip. Definitely. So I agree with what she was saying, R. Marie. I agree that I agree that you have I agree with a lot of things you're saying. You really do have to take time and heal, emotionally. I don't think men do that a lot, though. I think that they jump from relationship to relationship without really healing sometimes. Like, because you ever notice a man and a woman could have been together for, X amount of time, and the woman will, she'll be going out with her friends, and she's really trying to heal and get her heart together, but she look up and the man already in a whole fledged relationship, and you just kind of figure out, like, did you already have this person, like, in the background or something? Like, how did you move on that quick if what we had was supposed to be love? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yes,
that's I don't understand that. I don't know how, well, I guess men don't waddle. I'm curious if there's any men that's listening right now that you could join in and just, our topic today. So the call-in number is 516-387-1247. That's 516-387-1247. Yeah, so I know we've kind of covered this before, but I just feel like, you definitely, like Kim said, you have to love yourself. You have to be at that place where you can be confident with being alone. Like, there was, before I met Mr. Stout, I was single for a number of years. You know what I'm saying? And I was single for a number of years.
But during that time, you made a lot of progress personally in your life.
Yeah, I did, as far as in the area that I want to work in. So for me, the entertainment industry as a whole, the indie entertainment industry, with the podcast and the radio and, the events and the books and the movie, that's like my passion. That's my heart. That's what I've been working on for the last, I want to say, 20 years of my life, And so I was able to really just throw all my passion and energy into that. And so it didn't bother me with not having a sexual partner. I had males in my life that I guess was taking that void. You know what I'm saying? So I got a question for you. So for the same thing, if you have a friend or you have friends, and some of your male friends, and this could be either way. It could be a male with a female, but how do you keep a good friendship that's really never supposed to be more than a friendship from crossing the line into the emotional side of things, but the thing is lopsided. Like let's say you got a best friend, right? And you you really love your best friend, like, oh my gosh, you love everything about your best friend. Like, he is everything you ever want in a man. Y'all could talk all night, y'all think along the same lines, all the kind of stuff, and you're really attracted to him, and you're always around him, but he don't feel the same way about you. Like, how do you deal with that?
You said he don't feel the same way with you?
He does not. Right, but you are, you're a friend, or it could be a man. A man could be in love with a woman, like really loving her, best friends with her, everything. You know what I'm saying? But she ain't digging him like that. She just see him as a friend. I think that there are a lot of relationships out there that are like that. What'd you say?
I have a male friend, and he and I have been friends even longer than I've known you. Like, we were in kindergarten together. So, and we've been friends, and then as he became a teenager, he tried to hit on me a couple times. I'm like, boy, you like my brother, so, and it was no big deal. But even in adulthood, he's like, I really love you. He confessed, like, I really, really love you. He's like, I would have been, if I wouldn't have messed my life up so bad. He still blames himself for some of the things and consequences from his past, but and I, and it's sad. And I know that this man really do love me, but I'm not willing to sacrifice my friendship, because what if it does not work? And I already, you loving me like that, but I'm really not feeling, I'm not feeling that, because I'm treasuring the friendship. Because I've had a couple very close male friends of mine where we crossed the line and we tried to make it work. And then when it didn't work, I tried to go back to just being friends, and that didn't work either.
We got a caller. We got a caller.
Okay.
Let me put a caller in. Hello, caller. You have called in to On the Move Unscripted. Can you tell us your name and where you're calling from? Can you tell us your name and where you're calling from? You got 647 in your number? Okay.
Maybe they just listen. And don't start.
Maybe they don't know they have their phone on mute. So I'm going to say it one more time before I hang it up. You have 647 in your number? You just called in? Go on one.
Hello. This is Patrick.
Patrick, I have a confession. I have a telephone question on you. This is R. Marie. I really do. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's your voice. I don't know if it's your intellect. It's probably a combination of both. I've always swayed towards smart people. But I don't know what it is. But I could be in the worst mood. And one night I was in a real bad mood. One of the callers, we was going back and forth. And then you got on the line. And just sudden, my whole aura changed. I'm like, you're such positive energy for me. I don't know why. It's not obsession. You don't have to run down to the police section. But just know, you definitely make my night every time you call in. Trisha, am I lying?
Tell
the truth.
Well, thanks for the kind words. Thanks.
Yeah, she's not lying. She's serious about that.
It's funny. I was just calling in to listen, and I didn't push the one, but you guys brought me in anyway, which is cool. But
I love when you call it. If you add, we need a male to join our conversation. It's nice to have a male to a male point of view. It's nice. So I got a question for you. Have you ever been like best friends with someone of the opposite sex, and that person ended up wanting more than just friendship? And how did you deal with it? Or how did y'all handle that? If that's ever happened.
It's funny you asked that question. I'm going through that right now.
Wow.
You mean other than me? Okay. No, go ahead.
No. I'm going through it right now. It's just, and I don't know how it happened, but I guess maybe, yeah. I don't know how it happened. It just happened, and then now I feel like I'm under pressure. You know what I mean?
So you're trying to figure out like how to let her know that you value the friendship, but you don't see her that way.
Yeah, and I think there's another thing to it. Is that I value friendships. So the friendships last. The friendships last a long time. A lot of the relationships, of course, don't. So I value as I get older, I value my friendships more and more.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Other than the relationships, because those are more stable. Those seem to last, and they're beneficial, right? So for me in a lot of ways. So yeah. So what's going on is, I've kind of made it kind of clear before, and they know they're good. She's a good friend of mine, so she knows what's going on with me. But still, I think she expects a lot out of me. So my birthday was just in July, and what she did was she.
Yeah,
thank you. So she bought me an expensive watch, and I'm just like, oh man. Here we go, right? And then she had a business meeting over 3 days at a place called Niagara on the Lake. Niagara on the Lake is like a nice area near the lake, kind of a little mini resort area near the lake. And she said, since I'm going there and you've never been there, why don't you just come to Niagara on the Lake and stay with me? And I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, well, I'll get 2 beds. Don't worry, I won't jump your bones and all this kind of stuff. I'm just like, nah. No. Pressure coming now, right? The pressure is coming on. And I'm just like, oh, man, no. I'm not going to do this.
Right. No, if you're not attracted to her, don't give her any don't give her anything to feed on. And what I'm saying is, if you already know that she has these feelings for you, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, you definitely should sit down and have a straightforward talk and just say, and just be honest. I think the best thing is to be honest and
Right.
not try to avoid what's obvious and not mislead her in any kind of way, because
But
that can get
talk about the elephant in the room. Because she's going to be hurt either way. I said, because you have to address the elephant in the room. Otherwise, it's going to start hindering on the friendship. Mm-hmm. And I say that through experience. I try so hard to spare my friends' feelings, trying to be nice and come up with different excuses, and then it just finally got to the point that I was like, look, we need to talk because you're my friend, because I love you dearly as my friend, but I don't want anything other than our friendship, because I treasure our friendship from decades for so long. I cannot chance that. But you know that I love you. I know that you do. And that's why I love you so much as my friend. But I know my type, and you're not my type. I know my compatibility. I'm old enough. I'm mature enough. I know it. And you're not it. And it was, and it's not a dig. It's an honesty. And I know I hurt his feelings, but what would have been worse? Pretending like, okay, we can hang out, knowing that that's not what I want. And then when it busts, because when you're not connected, when you're spiritually just not going to connect on that level, it takes both people to intertwine. And if it's not going to intertwine, and then once that fizzles down, that hinders that friendship. But I told him, I'm like, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I would prefer you hurt a little bit from my honesty than for me to lead you on. I don't want to hurt you at all, but I also must be true to me. I got to be honest with myself. I refuse to pretend to be anybody other than myself.
I went through the same experience. I went through the same experience as y'all. Like, I was working very closely with someone, and it was me. I was the one who ended up developing feelings for this person. I was the one, and I think that he let me know in his way that he was not. He valued our friendship, but he wasn't interested in me in that way. But for some reason, it's like it was like I don't know. It was hard for me to really accept it. I guess because our friendship was so close, and I just seen so many compatibilities and things, and was just an easygoing relationship, very peaceful, that I could not seem to accept the fact that he was not interested. You know what I'm saying? To the point where it hurt, and I had to go through, my tower moment and my crying and all that kind of stuff, because I really
the feelings of rejection. But don't you appreciate him a lot more? Don't you appreciate that he was at least honest instead of stringing you along?
You know what? For him, I feel like his way of dealing with it was to just distance. I don't think that he was able to truly like how you said it to your friend, like, hey, I value our friendships and I love you as a friend, but I'm just I'm not feeling you that way, and I don't want to hurt our relationship. I don't want to hurt our this. I don't want to, I think that he wasn't able to really communicate that in a way that I could understand it maybe or receive it. And so his thing was, distance. And so eventually I had to accept it. Eventually, I had to say, okay, I have to understand that this man does not see me that way. He just, we have a good friendship or whatever, but he just, the love that I feel is not returned. And I think that, so I do appreciate him for, not stringing me along, because I ended up meeting someone who was able to show me what it feels like when a man truly loves a woman. I was able to get that. You know what I'm saying? And once I received that, then I understood. It's like a light bulb went off in my head. And I'm like, okay, this is what happens. This is how a man treats you when he loves you. This is how a man treats you when he's attracted. You don't have to chase. If a man is attracted to you, you do not have to freaking chase him. You do not have to beg him or nothing. A man, they are born to go after what they want. So if a man is interested in you, he's going to come after you. You do not have to chase him. And I think that really just clicked in my mind more so after I got through my healing phase and I got into my next relationship. Everything that I was wanting from my friend that he was not able to give, I was able to give from someone who was willing to give it. You understand what I'm saying? So I definitely understand. It could be there's almost nothing. You can tell her probably from now to Timbuktu that you are not feeling her that way. But if in her mind, in her mind and her spirit that you are the one for her, she's going to have to go through her own roller coaster ride until she really understands. And you just have to keep reiterating it to her and do not lead her on in any kind of way. Don't give her a pellet of thinking that there's a
let Pat talk. Let Pat talk. So explain it, Pat. You said that you said you did tell her, right?
Well, I mean, we we I always say, refer to her as a friend, right? And I don't think we really had an explicit talk. I think one time she did say that she had to kind of get her feelings in check or whatever. So I thought that was all done. But now I'm feeling pressure again.
That was debate.
You know what I mean?
That was debate. When a woman tell you something like that she's waiting on your feedback. Like, feelings in check about what? If you're quiet about it, that could mean two things. That could either mean, maybe he didn't hear me, or maybe he didn't understand, or, like Trisha went through. She didn't accept her rejection very kindly, So, maybe she's like, well, maybe he's not ready yet. Because if your friendship in any way had became intimate in any way, then that's really the change of a ball game, because it's a lot more feelings indebted with that.
There's another situation. There's another situation where somebody I'm trying to be friends with. Now, this person years ago I was intimate with, some years back, but since then I've been, we've been cool. I've been trying to be friends, but that's just not working out. It's not working because she keeps making little comments and little snide comments about, you let that go, or just making little snide comments and stuff. I'm just like, why? Like, we're cool now. Like, we're cool.
Once you cross that line, Patrick, once you cross that line, that intimacy line, where you went from, it's one thing with your friend, the one friend who you've never crossed that line with. And it's just about her and her fantasy and emotions and thoughts and feelings and stuff. But it ain't got nothing to do with nothing sexual. No kissing, no intimacy. But it's a whole different beast when you have been intimate with someone. Because you got to understand, when you're intimate with someone, you are exchanging, spiritual energies and everything. It's on a deeper level. So even though it's been a long time, you still, your body, your mind, especially if you laid it down. If you laid it down, Patrick, she ain't going to forget. So that's why she's saying, oh, yeah, you missing this, Because she really thinking laid it down. Because if you hadn't laid it down, she wouldn't be talking about that shit no more. Y'all just be straight friends.
Oh yeah, I was in rare form. I was in rare form on that.
Oh, he done laid it down on her.
Yeah, I was in rare form.
But you know what? I mean, when she make them sly remarks, that's still a little bit of feelings. Because women are we can hold on to feelings for a very long time because of our emotions. So that's why So to me, it sounds like that she did what she was supposed to do, went all out. You had fun, but you weren't quite ready, or you moved on, and that kind of hurt her feelings. So now that you're trying to come back, I'm telling you, when you try to come back, now they feel like, now he's trying to be my friend again, yo. Okay. He gonna pay.
Oh, he missed this. Oh, he remember how this was. So it's you. It's you that's trying to reinitiate the friendship with her?
No, we always kind of been in touch, but it's been like more frequent lately, right? Like we've just been friends. Like this has been years ago. I mean, we've been friends, and yeah. I mean, it just comes up, and I'm just like, oh man, like.
Are you trying?
Here we go with this one.
Are you trying to replace this one over here that is trying to slide in your bed? Are you trying to replace a friendship with this other friendship over here so you can start distancing yourself?
No. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to do that. The first one I told you about, the reason why we're good friends is because number one, we kind of have, our kids were the same age as as the years went by, we just talked about, parenting stuff and all kinds of other stuff, and we have similar interests. And she's a really positive person. I don't know if you guys ever know that person that is always upbeat and positive. She's one of those people. So I like to speak with her because I always get more of a positive conversation, more of a, you know what I mean? Like there's that connection. But now, look what happens.
Don't slip up on no drunk night over there with that friend that already like you. Don't slip up. Don't have one too many tequilas and stuff and slide up in there, and you ain't gonna never be able to convince her that you ain't the one.
Yeah, no, and you know what? And so it's a catch-22. So now I'm like, okay, this is a good friend. I still want her to be my friend. I still want to talk to her, but I guess maybe I'm gonna have to have a conversation. I mean, when I saw the watch she bought me for my birthday, I was like, what? Like, why are you doing it? I wanted to give it back. I didn't want to take it. I really didn't want to take it.
That would hurt her. I think that it would be good to people like to do stuff over text and over phone, but if you and this person, you and this lady are really close friends, truly close friends, I think that you should, maybe say, I really want to talk to you, but I don't want to do it over the phone. I want it to be face to face, so she could feel your energy. She can get, your nonverbal
and
as well as
your face and see that you're being truthful. She can look in your face and in your eyes and see that you are being honest, but you're being, you still want to, show her you care. You still want to be good friends with her. And then after that, it's all on her because you've laid the cards on the table and you were honest about it.
Cards on the table, Patrick. Women, we need for you to break it down to the lowest. One of my co-hosts, bring it down to the lowest common denominator. We need don't be beating around the bush. Just come right out with it, and so that she can process it. Like, listen, I care for you. You are my friend. I don't want to lose our friendship, but I am not interested in you sexually in any kind of way. I'm not attracted to you in that kind of way, and I do not want to lose our friendship because of that. Because I would rather, distance myself rather than break your heart. Be specific so that she can take that and she won't be able to turn it around in her head and make her think that you really were saying, because women, we can do that. You will tell us, baby, I'm just not feeling you like that right now. And she'll take that and say, oh, he said right now. So probably when I come back next week, I'm going to wear the gown. It's probably the way my hair was, or it's probably just lipstick. It's just lipstick. I should have worn the black one, or I should have worn the yellow with the red one. I should have worn Make sure you don't leave no spaces in there.
You know what? That's great advice.
You do have to deliver clarity. Understand, you're a very good friend of mine. Positive vibes. Nothing but positive vibes. And I care deeply about you. But I'm not interested in you as, as a couple. You're my friend. You're my friend, not my girlfriend. You're not my woman. You're not my lady. You're not my girlfriend. But you are one of the best female friends that I have.
And it might hurt her to hear you say that because you going to burst her freaking bubble.
It's going to hurt her. That you might as well expect. Because, no one likes being rejected. And especially if somebody's feeling like they getting positive vibes and they think is finally going this way. You never know. This girl may have been waiting and maybe she felt like you was taking too long. So she had to, give you a boost, kind of help you out a little bit. Like, oh, it's birthday. Let me get him a nice gift, because a friend's going to give you, something nice, but not no really expensive watch. That's so that kind of told me that, I need to know where your head is at with this because I want us to be able to have an awesome friendship, but I need to be honest about my feelings for you.
And
it's just as long as
girl, you wearing that dress, your booty is popping in that dress. Like, make sure you don't send no cross waves. Don't be like, I just want to be your friend. But, girl, you wearing that freaking outfit, baby. That booty is popping. Like, don't send no mixed vibes.
Patrick, don't talk. I do. Okay, I don't send mixed vibes like that. But I do if she's like she does. I don't know if that's mixed vibes or not, but,
It's
I tell her.
It's mixed vibes until you have that talk with her. Until you have that talk with her, it's mixed vibes. Because you can be like, darn, you look really nice today. And she's thinking stuff, I know he's like this. I know he was watching me. Girl, was he watching me when I walked away? That kind of stuff. Like, it's mixed vibes until you have that deep one-on-one, face-to-face, no denying type thing. And then, and you can even say to her, and I don't want to hinder you from finding someone who's going to love you the way you need to be loved, because that's the truth. She, when I was having all this emotion for him, I was ignoring the people or men or who was really feeling me. You know what I'm saying? I blocked myself from that because I'm so into somebody who was not into me. And lopsided love is the most painful freaking love. It's almost as bad as being married to someone who's cheating on you. Like, it's one way love is painful. It's painful because women, we can make it become bigger than what it is. You know what I'm saying? We can have this full blown relationship, romance in our head that you don't know shit about.
All right, I'm gonna call it. Listen, after I have this conversation, I'm gonna call back into the show and let you guys know how it went.
Please do.
You must. I need to know for my own interest on my telephone crush.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna call in. I'm gonna let you guys know. Even if she throw a drink in my face, I'm gonna call in and let you guys know.
You know what?
You better not. If she throw a drink in your face, Patrick, I'm gonna go through Trisha's telephone line and find your area code, and I'm coming. You have help on the way. I'm your friend too. I'm your friend you've never seen, you've never met, except on the radio.
So,
like.
This is a great show, man. I'm telling you, man. You guys have a winning show.
I'm so glad you like our show. I'm so glad that you enjoy. Like, for all the people who actually listen, like, we just got a little award from Spreaker.com because I actually I upload this on Spreaker.com too. And My son getting water. I'm sorry, y'all. I upload this on Spreaker.com too, and we reach like 5,000 downloads. So that means that people are going back and re-listening to our shows after it's aired. You know what I'm saying? Like after I put it up there, people are still going back and they're listening to shows that are their favorites and stuff. And that's awesome. That's beautiful. That means that there are things that we're talking about that they love, and they don't even give a damn that it's unscripted and we be jacking up and stuff be acting up and stuff don't always act right. They don't care because they like our energy. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you calling in and joining the show and being a part of what we're doing, Like Kim said, the whole goal for On the Move Unscripted Ladies Roundtable Discussion was for us to have shows with purpose. You know what I'm saying? On the Move Unscripted with purpose. Like we are purposely bringing this stuff because we want to benefit people, and help people who are going through what we're really going through. We're going, most of the stuff we talk about is real life situations. So I appreciate you for that. I really.
This is great adult conversation. I mean, it really is. And people, it's interesting that you guys can be honest and really tell it like it is. Like tonight. I mean, like with me. You guys are telling me exactly how it is.
Yeah. And you know what? Because Marie has been there where she was the one who someone was loving her like that, and then I had where I was loving somebody like that. So I understand, And for me, it was just I think when it finally processed, when I finally got it in my head, like Patricia, this brother don't give a damn about you like that, Patricia. You know what I'm saying? When I finally got it in my spirit, when I finally could grab it and hold it and understand it and clear that energy, you know what I'm saying? God sent someone who really was attracted to me and showed me, was able to return what I was giving out, and it wasn't one way. And so I appreciate being, you have to go through journeys and learning lessons, and sometimes you learn stuff and it ain't just for you, it's for somebody else, or somebody else's journey and stuff. So yeah.
I'm sure the information you guys are giving out tonight can really help somebody else, because I think this happens a lot.
Oh yeah.
With men and women.
Yeah, men and women think so differently. We just think so differently. Men are so much more logical thinkers. Like, I never told her that I loved her. I never told her I wanted to get with her. So, I hope she's not. I hope she's just enjoying my company. But maybe you're just a very enjoyable person, and maybe she enjoys your conversation as well. And maybe just if she's a constant positive aura around her, then people who are happy and positive, they just you can't help but to be nicer, you're happier, you're having more pleasant conversation. There's no arguing, there's no strife, and that could be easily mistaken, like, oh wow, he loves my company, because you really do, but just not in that way.
And women, we are.
Well, maybe he does like me, but he's kind of shy, and maybe he's too shy to make the first move. So I'll make the first move, which is always a big mistake. But if that's the first move,
but you know what? That's because women are. We love communication. Women are Most women. I'm not gonna say all women. Most women are communicators, and so if you can reach a woman's mind and her spirit, and you can connect with that, you're reaching her soul. That's why a lot of women can have non-sexual relationships with men that are very romantic in nature, because that man is feeding her soul. He's feeding her spirit. He's saying things that she needs to hear or wants to hear, or desires to hear. You know what I'm saying? And so she's able to give you her heart without ever giving you her body. Now, what I will say, though, is some of the best freaking relationships and all. I mean, I know it can always be the flip, but for the most part, some of the best relationships, you start off as friends. Because too many people meet and they start off backwards. They be in the bed and they get out the bed like, hey, baby, then what you say your middle name was? You know what I'm saying? You say you like what color? You know, you like your eggs over, you know. It's like they start relationships backwards. That's how we've been taught in these generations past, is to start the relationship off on a sexual or physical and then get to getting to know each other, when really that's the freaking backwards as hell. Like, you need to know who that person is. You need to know who they are. Talk to them on the phone. Get to know their inner man before you give your body, because once you give your body, that's an automatic connection, especially if the sex is the freaking bomb. It's over!
That is true. That is true. It's better to get to know that person.
If the sex is weak, you might be. Let me just tell them this, and I'll be quiet. If the sex is weak, if that sexual attraction between you is not the bomb in the bed, then you may be able to revert back to the friendship stage, and you ain't never going to hear her say nothing else about it because it was weak as hell.
Not never again. Ever.
Then you just gonna be friends, baby. I don't think we really should go that way, because I really value our friendship. If y'all didn't screwed and she didn't revert it backwards, that means that sex was weak. That wasn't good.
You got that right. Yeah.
Like, no. We can only be friends. That's it. That's all I got.
I don't want to.
You know, I think one of the things is that she's not dating. My suspicion is she's not dating because of it, and that's a bad thing.
Yeah, she's probably not, because none of them other jokers is probably matching your level of communication and compatibility. You and her are probably very compatible in a lot of areas. You probably think a lot, appreciate the same things, all that kind of stuff. And if she has zoned her eyes on you, a woman will be loyal to who she's feeling, affection for, loving or whatever. So she's probably not letting nobody in. All them other jokers probably ain't matching up. You know what I'm saying? To the level of what you and her have. So she's probably not. But you're gonna have to you're gonna have to be honest with her. If you're really not feeling her that way, and you don't ever expect to feel her that way, then you're going to need to be honest with her. But if there's a little bit of something in you, little something, little deep down inside that you like, well, just not right now, then be gentle, because you don't want to mess up your opportunity to ever go back that way. But if you know for a shadow of a doubt that you don't see her like that, then be as brutally honest as possible so that she can move on and you could say be as brutally honest as possible without destroying her spirit.
Now, her issues will be regardless, but that will pass. Time heals all wounds. And that is the truth.
We're coming down to the last. Patrick, you're going to call back next week, because we got to find. I mean, if you go ahead and call her this week,
we need to find out what happened this week. I definitely want to know.
I had a conversation this weekend and then call back next Thursday.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to call back next Thursday. I am. I'll let you guys know. I'm scared of the tears. That's another thing. I don't want any tears, man. I'm scared of that.
Oh, you know what? Women are emotional, so that might happen. But, if you think it may, have a couple tissues or have a handkerchief or something ready, or give her a hug. Like, hey, you're my friend. I love you. I love you too much to play you. I don't want to play you. I don't want to sit there and play on your feelings because you're my friend. But I have to be honest. I have to be.
The only way you don't do that is she's mentally unstable. Then you might need to do that over the phone. But anyway, let's talk next week, y'all. On the Move, Unscripted, ladies. I'll discuss with this next week. Peace and love. I appreciate y'all. Until next week, y'all. I'm going to slide out of here with some Superwoman. Every Superwoman needs a Superman.
Let's go get that money. Let's go get that money. Let's go get that money. Like Adam and Eve and Bonnie and Clyde, we're a team. Different days, same story. Got to go out and get that money. Got mouths to feed and bills to pay. Got to put that S on my chest today. Superwoman, superwoman. Every superwoman needs her Superman. Superwoman, superwoman. Every superwoman needs her Superman. Hey, I gotta pick up the pace. No more time to waste. Gotta put on my case. I gotta win this race. I got far too much to say. Different days, same story. Got to go out and get that money. Got mouths to feed and bills to pay. Got to put that S on my chest today. Superwoman, superwoman. Every superwoman needs her Superman. Superwoman, superwoman. Every superwoman needs her Superman. Superwoman needs her Superman. Superwoman needs her Superman. Hey, I gotta pick up the pace. No more time to waste. Gotta put on my case. I gotta win this race. I got far too much to say. Superman, superwoman. Like Adam and Eve and Bonnie and Clyde, we taking over, and that's no lie. No mountain high with you by my side. Hey, I'm your superwoman, you're my Superman. Hey, like Adam and Eve and Bonnie and Clyde, we will succeed. Superman, superwoman, like Adam and Eve and Bonnie and Clyde, we taking over, and that's no lie. I got your back, baby, and you got mine.